Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining in the video today. Before I get started, of course, here where I am, this is now Christmas Eve, and likely I won't be doing a video update tomorrow. Just a disclaimer for those, I'll start, over the next couple days, letting you know this. I'm going to be out of the country for a few days, so I won't be back until about January 5th. So my video appearances here will be um, spread pretty thin. So just to let you know that I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just going to be I'm just going to be away for a while, but I'll still be on the Discord, keeping an eye on the market, still be actively trading this market. But what I want to do today, I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I want to take a look at what price action is currently happening on the charts. It's really pretty interesting. I think we've got some good opportunities coming up here. So let's just talk for a moment about Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and go right into the chart. So what I've got here is I've got basically the price action here recently. I want to take a look at the shorter time frames, basically what's going to happen over the next couple days, and then what potentially is going to be happening after New Year's. So that's going to be interesting here. All right, so what I want to point out is the fact that we have been kind of keeping an eye on this pattern for a while. We've been talking about, putting in this 4, and it has been taking a while. We've been talking about this going up to 7,700, 7,800. I do think that is likely going to happen. I do think that we will come down, or sorry, up rather, to this level. It is also very possible that we do find our way to come all the way back up to 8,400 still. I do think that is in the cards. And what I want to do to kind of outline that is I want to take out my trend-based fib tool, which I use all the time. And if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, this is one of my favorite tools to use. And again, for this, I take it from the bottom, so our bottom pivot. I move up here to the top, and then I come down to our retrace, which is this level right here. I'm just kind of pulling it off to the side so our Fibonacci levels aren't at the same price action, and just to make it a little clearer and easier to see. So what we can see here is, our 618 is hovering right here at 77.50. I mean, the target there is perfect. It couldn't be any better. Right there at 77.50, and that's a 61.8%, the length of this first wave here. So we're calling this not necessarily a 1, not necessarily an A. I'm just calling this our first wave. And then we have our second wave, so our retrace. And you could call this a wedge, but I'm pulling it down to where our low is. And our target would be right up here at 77.50. We didn't quite get up there, right? So we didn't actually hit really any algo targets that I have been, keeping an eye on, which would be, right here. I've been talking about this hot zone for a while. We had a little bit of a front run, but I tend to believe that we're going to go back up here. I tend to believe we're going to go back up and we're going to retest this area. It is possible. It is possible for us to retest 8,200. Now, I'm keeping an eye on this cluster over here, which we haven't penetrated yet. So let me just go ahead and outline this because we haven't penetrated this level. So let's just go ahead and outline this as well. I'm going to go from the high down to the low and just keeping an eye on this because I think this is also going to be significant resistance. It's going to be 8,000 through about 8,200. So that 8,000 to 8,200 level is also going to be pretty significant resistance. One thing that I am keeping an eye on here, I am keeping an eye on this channel, as you all know. I've been keeping an eye on this channel. The question is, are we going to come all the way up here to the top of this channel? Well, if we do go to the top of this channel, you can see here very clearly that this is at the 1618. Okay, so if it just so happens that we do something like this, and this is where technical analysis isn't, perfect, but this can give us some clues as to where price action might go. So if we're doing this, we're doing a 1, 2, and then we're going to put in a 3 up here, which this would be a 3 if we go this high. Likely we're going to come down here just a little bit. Maybe we come back down to 8,400, but we're going to go higher. Maybe 10,000 if this happens. I don't think that this is going to happen. Full disclosure, I'm layering in longs as we speak. I've got orders all the way down to 7,300. So I'll be ready for it. I've closed out of my short on my small account. That short is closed, and I'm going to be ready for this move if it happens. I do think we're going to see some upside. I do think that what we had, and let me just go ahead and go out to a 30-minute time frame. And just to outline what we are seeing here, we had good absorption and good rejection down here. So this is looking pretty good for a continuation move to the upside, even if it's just a little bit. Okay. So now where are our likely resistance levels going to be? Well, that's going to be very easy for us to determine. I'm going to do a fib retrace, and I'm going to go from the top here all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to be taking a look. Right now we're getting rejection at the 382. I mean, perfect rejection at the 382. Very possible for us to come here to the 50, which is going to be at about 74.50. Could be that it goes up to 75.10. This is our first resistance that we're going to be approaching. I do believe that this is going to be significant resistance because, as you all know, I am a support and resistance trader. And this level right here at the 618 is pretty significant because we have, absorption, we have support, and then we broke through. We haven't retested this. Not that we have to, but I do think that we will. I think that we'll come back up here to this level. And then if we come up here and get rejected, well, then we're going to come down to 7,100. I'm going to be ready for this. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be waiting just to see, how this all works out. But let me go to an hourly time frame, just to kind of show you what I see here. This is one of the reasons why I don't think we're going to go sky high just quite yet. All right, so we have our hourly, which is overextended, which is why I think scaling in is probably going to be, a decent move. I think scaling in because this hourly is going to come down. Now the 2 hour is pretty low. The 3 hour is approaching very low levels. The 6 hour and the 4 hour, these are all coming down, but the 12 hour is very, very high still. I mean, the 12 hour is sitting up there at 80. That's pretty high. That means that when this thing does flip and turn to the downside, we're going to be in a downtrend for likely days. So this is going to take time to work itself out. So just for the record, when we were down here on the 12 hour, this was on December 18th. Okay, so that was about a week ago. We've been in an uptrend for about a week. Okay, so we had this down here. This is when the 12 hour was down into oversold territory. And now the 12 hour is approaching overbought territory, but I do think that we're going to get, again, another move to the upside. If we can break through 74.50 to 7,500, I do think that we're going to get this move up here to 77.50, maybe even 8,000 to 8,200. We'll just kind of be waiting to see. I expect that there are lots and lots of sellers waiting there at 8,000 to, basically to just demolish the price of Bitcoin. So again, keeping an eye on that. Very interesting that the downside target for this, if we get rejected at the 618, the downside target is right here at the hourly 200 simple moving average, which again, we haven't tested since back here. So if we get rejected at the 50 or the 618, I would expect this target of 7,100 to hit, a good retest of this 200 simple moving average, and maybe at that point we get that move to the upside. I'm interested in scaling in. I probably will be stopping out about 7,200. I'm fine with my spot buys, but on any leverage plays, I'm going to be looking down here. So I'm going to be layering in down to 7,300. So all the way down to almost that 100 exponential. And I'm going to be looking to stop just on the other side of, basically where this wick was. We had a nice big red candle and then a bigger green candle to follow up. So that's good for continuation to in the opposite direction. So good absorption, good move, and we are above our resistance here, which is at about 73.25. So it wouldn't surprise me if we came down here one more time. I've got a couple bids that have been filled, but I've got some more sitting down here closer to 7,300. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. Now, the scenario where I think is the highest probability. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting to happen over the next couple weeks. Okay, so this is going to be basically This is going to be my gift to you, I suppose, as far as price action goes, because I will likely be absent from my YouTube videos while this is taking place. All right, so let's just take a look at this. What I've got here is what I'm expecting to happen. We've got this move up here, likely going to see some retrace. We're going to see this move to the upside. And we don't know where it's going to go. It could be here and it could be here. But what I think is probably going to happen is we're going to see another big move down to 72. We're going to see another move down here, back to this low, and then we're going to see, some follow-up. We're going to see some resistance at the at where we had over here, where we had our support. That's going to now be resistance, and then we're going to see a much deeper move. And I'm going to need to squeeze my chart down a little bit just to work this out. And again, we're talking about the month of January. I hate to say it, but I do kind of believe that the month of January is going to be a little red, and we just, that's just what I think is going to happen. So likely it's going to come down here. Let me just make some adjustments here because I do think that the time is going to take a little bit more to work itself out. We're likely going to have another low there. We're going to be moving over here, probably get rejection at the median. So let's just see how this works out. Usually when I do these drawings, I tend to I tend to get the moves right, but I tend to get my time frame off just a little bit. So likely we're going to have another 3 waves down, and that's going to be our deep retrace down here to the 5800 level. Is it going to come all the way down here to the bottom? I'm not going to say that we're going to come down here quite yet. I do think that we'll probably stop if we come down this low. I could be completely wrong here. We may not come down this low, but I do believe that that likely something like this is going to happen. It just, we've been talking about 5,800 for so long. I still really believe that it is going to happen. Now, invalidation, this move down here will likely be invalidated if we make this move up here to the top of this trend line, which again, we talked about this. This is going to be that 1618. So if we see a move that looks like this, where we have basically a 1, a 2, and then we're doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we do come all the way up even to 9,000, and then we do a retrace just down here, we're going to move up and out of this. We will move up and out of this. If we come to the top of this trend line, there will be resistance here. There will be at 9,000, there will be significant distribution happening, but likely will be some reaccumulation happening here at 8,400. So this is my wild card. So I'm just going to put this in pink because I think it's possible for that to happen. Just because of the 12-hour Stochh, I tend to believe that we're going to see another downtrend before we see this break out of this channel. I do think we will break out of this channel at some point, and I do think that this is a decent accumulation area. I would say that there has been a lot of accumulation going on here, especially if you've been keeping an eye on the longs and shorts. There has been a decent amount of accumulation going on here. So, keeping an eye on this and moving to the daily time frame. Let's just take a look at this here. Let me zoom out. We're taking a look at the 200 simple moving average on the daily time frame. Okay, so we had rejection at the 55. I think we're likely going to come back up and retest that. The 100 exponential, which is also likely to be retested, is up inside of our danger zone, which is going to be sitting here at about 8,100. Over the next couple days, this is likely going to move down just a little bit. So I think between now and New Year's, so over the next 5-6 days, I do think that we are going to see some steady movement to the upside. Likely it's going to come up here to the 8,100 level, and then I think there's going to be a significant move to the downside. That's just my gut. If if you put a gun to my head and asked me what I thought was going to happen next, I think we're going to see some slow grinding to the upside. We're likely going to create a new high here. It's going to create a lot of retail bullish sentiment in the market, and I think at that point we're going to see either a consolidation up here, which is going to allow the 12-hour stochastic to reset, or it's going to create that new downtrend. One other thing, it may not come all the way down to 5,800. I do believe it is going to come down, but something else that I want to point out is the fact that we have a potential shoulder and a head and we haven't created this other shoulder yet. So it could be that this only comes back down to 6,600. Very possible. It could be that this only comes down to about 6,900. So somewhere down here, I'm going to be interested in watching to see what happens, because we have basically a neckline up here that we really haven't tested that either. It could be that we have a slanted neckline and we're coming down now for this. Even though I think we have a little bit of upside, watching to see what happens there. Looking at excuse me, looking at 7,100 for a move to the downside. But we also have to keep an eye on this pattern. So we have several things going on all at the same time. One thing that that had been brought up on the Discord server just a couple days ago. I want to talk about this for a moment. The fact that we had this broadening wedge. We've come back inside of this, right? So we had a push to the upside. Now we're back trading inside of it. And if this is, in fact, a broadening wedge, we could potentially be seeing, another move to the downside here. Okay, and if we see another move to the downside, well, this comes all the way down to 5,800. So this is also a third scenario, or a 20th scenario, if you will. If we break the 21 exponential on the daily, it is very, very possible that we come back down to 5,800. And the 12-hour stochastic, I can't stress that enough. The 12-hour stochastic supports that. So all of the other stochastics do support a lower time frame move to the upside, but the 12-hour is sitting here. Really, the last time it was this high was right here, and we can see the 12-hour. This is the red stochastic that I've got here. Last time it was up there was when the price was up here, and it took time, but the price moved. How far down did this move? Let's just see. Price moved down 18.5% before it bottomed out, and it bottomed out down here. You can see where this background turned green. The 12-hour stochastic was way down here, and then what have we seen? We have seen potential move 20% to the upside. So there is decent money to be made even in an accumulation zone. Nonetheless, I do think that a move down to 5,800 is still likely. It's still in the cards for me. I haven't turned completely bullish yet. I will turn bullish if Bitcoin could move above, I would say at this point, if Bitcoin moves above the 100 exponential on the daily, which is sitting here at 81.50. If we can close the daily above that, I'll probably turn bullish, because I think that a move up here to 9,000 is very likely. So I'll likely take a long, like a hefty long at that point, from 81, 8,200 to 9,000, and then I'll cover myself here at 9,000, maybe just shy of it, so that I don't get front ran, and then I'll be looking to reaccumulate here at 8,400 for some longer term long positions. But spot buys still good. I will do my last spot buys at 5,800, and then I'll be basically set there for those are probably going to sit there for the better part of a year or two. Okay, well, I've talked about this for long enough. If this helped you in any way, shape, or form, I know I kind of went a little long today at 18 minutes, but if any of this helped you, like, subscribe, share. But before I close the video, I just want to wish everybody out there, whatever denomination you are, whatever faith you have, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I'm not really familiar with all of the others out there, but whatever you celebrate, I hope that it's a great holiday season and you have a happy New Year. And I will talk to you next year. Likely I'll do another video or two before the New Year's, but in case I don't, I wish you all a very, very happy New Year. So, but have a good day, a good night, good evening, wherever you are.